text-to-voice synthesis provided by Vidnami. Misinformation about the Act of 1871 is an ongoing problem, Part 2. January 15, 2021 by Anna von Reitz. We dealt with the Prelude understanding of the big picture and nomenclature and credits to other researchers in Part 1. In Part 2, we discover other important aspects. There is nothing called, the Act of 1871, is the first bit of pure gold. The fecund and feral 41st Congress of the United States of America chunked out dozens of acts in 1871, and it is open to question which act is purportedly the act. The second piece of critical need to know misinformation is that you will never understand any act of 1871, no matter which one you pick, without first grasping the importance of what I call the Act of 1870, the prior year's mischief promoted by the Rump Congress. I am providing the document via attachment to my email list, but FB friends will have to go to my website, www.annavonreitz.com, to get their copies of the more interesting Act of 1870 that I am now referencing. The Act of 1870 is in its way far more interesting and deplorable, as the Vermin gave themselves rights that they don't actually possess, and that is, to charter corporations, for the District of Columbia, which is not now and never was a sovereign nation or state of the Union. The Act of 1870 was blatant usurpation executed under the false presumption of the absence of our states and our federation of states, and sought to make the District of Columbia a separate Commonwealth British entity with the powers of a sovereign nation, which it is not then, nor now. The ability to form corporations and to incorporate them for the benefit of a sovereign entity is a uniquely sovereign activity that has never extended to the territorial government of the District of Columbia by these United States, and which was never allowed to the British monarch under the Constitution of the United States of America. So right there, in public, is a fundamental breach of trust, and the action, along with so many others, is rendered void both for fraud and for violation of the Constitution of the United States of America, because it seeks to redefine the nature and character of the territorial government and make it a sovereign government and imbue it with powers never delegated to it. The verminous import of the Act of 1871 is only made possible by the earlier usurpation and breach of trust embodied in the referenced Act of 1870. The ability to form corporations, for the District of Columbia self-evidently had to come before the effort to create municipal corporations, for the District of Columbia, which is another, separate, and never allowed, power of incorporation. Virtually everything that the Congresses from 1865 to 1888 accomplished, is illegal, unlawful, immoral, deceptive, and forbidden under one form of law or another, and they simply played dodge-ball, trying to evade the consequences of their actions by trading hats, acting first as the Congress of the United States Municipal Government, and next acting as the Congress of the United States of America Territorial Government. No doubt it was a heady prospect to usurp upon the states and people, who trustingly slept on for another 150 years, none the wiser. And yet today, it is apparent that all that they accomplished was done under conditions of breach of trust, violation of commercial contract, and fraud. It's all null and void under Roman civil law and under international law as well. It leaves both the municipal United States government and the territorial United States government guilty of gross breach of trust, usurpation, and fraud. And we are still talking about the Act of 1870 and the creation of the power to form corporations for the District of Columbia. The next act in 1871 presumes upon the first act in 1870 to access a further power, that of incorporation. Basically, our subcontractors have been exercising powers of our sovereign governments that were never granted to them. And now, the infamy of what these men did in the shadow of the Civil War is coming home to roost. Unfortunately, once the infection of corruption set in, it spread worldwide. When you step back and view both the Corporations Act of 1870 and the Act to form a government for the District of Columbia in 1871, it becomes crystal clear that the object of all this was to make a municipal corporation the government of the District of Columbia, and to usurp the territorial government that was already responsible for the District of Columbia's governance, and to substitute a municipal governor for the territorial governor. This made it a double coup d'état, one by secretive fraud and usurpation against the lawful American government and our Federation of States, and second, against the British territorial United States via legal manipulations and chicanery designed to substitute a municipal corporation for the territorial government. Overall, it's what you would expect from the scheming papists, if you realize that all of this was predicated on the ownership of two corporations by the Pope, both the Territorial Municipal Corporation DBA United States of America and the Municipal Corporation DBA United States. Of course, the Pope would own the Commonwealth entity as well as the municipal entity, and he would want the Commonwealth Corporation to be explicitly subservient to the parent municipal corporation in order to better control everything. And that's what the scheming rats did. http://annavonreitz.com/1870stapone.pdf http://annavonreitz.com/1871actiform.pdf